Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to pinch hit for Sue Johnson. And baseball analogies, I'm actually named after Kirby Puckett, a very famous baseball player, so we'll just go right along with it. I'm here to talk to you today a little bit about brain-based teaching and learning. Something that I've discovered in my educational journey is how, as educators, we often don't know very much about the human brain, yet we are teaching students how to learn and guiding them in their journey through learning. So where we're going to go today in our next 8 minutes together is how do we engage students in helping them remember and learn these important concepts, not only in science, but in other disciplines as well. So first thing I'd love for you to do is talk with your elbow partner. Make some observations for me about this system that I've set up for you up front. Make a new friend if you need to. If you don't know them, introduce yourself first. But make a few observations for me about this system up front. Back in 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Can I get a few people to share some observations? Brave audience members. Please don't all raise your hands at once. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Good seeing you again. I noticed that there was a wax tray.
Okay, a wax tray.
I'm looking at the picture, sorry.
That's okay. Very similar. Anyone else? Everyone said wax tray? Yeah.
My other partners discuss the various fires and hazards that come from candles.
Yeah. Okay, so you noticed that it had been lit.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
It was kind of angled.
Yeah. What else? Observations. Yeah, thank you.
But there's a way to light it.
Okay, there's a way to light it. Excellent. Yeah, thank you.
And then it shows to use matches instead of a lighter.
Ooh, okay, there are matches up here instead of a lighter. Anything else about this system itself? Simple observations.
Table.
There's a table. Let's focus on what's on top of the table. Yeah.
It's low tech, but very practical.
Okay, low tech, very practical, yeah.
Must be oxygen in the air.
Okay, something to do with oxygen. I love it, our science background. Yeah.
We thought it was what you can't find in a power outage.
Ooh, what you can't find in power outage. I love it. Let's get one more. I saw a hand. No? Maybe? Yeah.
All right. I was going to say that before the candle can be utilized for its purpose, there's an action that has to be done, which would be the lighting of it.
I love it. Thank you. Okay, so awesome. So yeah, one more.
The base.
The base. What about the base?
Well, one is concave, the other is reverse.
Okay, so we see a concave base here and a reversed concave base here. Awesome. So I heard some buzzwords that maybe my 8th grade students might have mentioned, things like wax, fire, lighting, candle, these types of things. So let's test the system. And if you can't see, try and lean around to see. Let's see, some of our observations were correct. Sometimes I take too big of a bite. Okay. So, a discrepant event, correct? Did I break your expectations? Yeah. You should hear 8th graders when I do that. They're like, ah! Is your mouth okay? So when we talk about discrepant events, excuse me, I'm still chewing. But when we talk about discrepant events, we define it as a phenomenon where something happens that you didn't expect to happen. As you can imagine, my students never forget that. I still have students come back to me saying, remember that day you ate the candle? And I tell them, was it actually a candle? Did I break your expectations? Did we make inferences instead of observations about a system that we saw, that we have prior knowledge and expectations about? So I had the pleasure of having Sue join me in my classroom. I teach honors physiology, and she actually brought a human brain for my students to hold, manipulate, make observations about. It was an amazing day. My students still, again, come back and tell me all about it. But Sue and I, in a lot of our connections together and working together, have talked a lot about this phenomenon and presenting information to our students in the form of discrepant events and how that helps them retain and remember information. So the amygdala in our brain, if you didn't know, plays a role in our ability to retain information when our expectations are broken. So as a classroom teacher, I try and utilize this in events like I just showed you, where I break my students' expectations to help them remember things. In case you didn't know, this is where the amygdala is located. Do me a favor, again, chat with your new best friend. Tell me where you were when the World Trade Centers were hit. All right, let's bring it back in 3, 2, 1. Awesome. So I'd love to have you all share, but raise your hand if you can remember exactly where you were when that happened. I would be safe to say almost every hand in the room is up. I vividly remember, I was young. I was 10 years old. I remember vividly walking into my parents' room. My little sister had a broken arm. She had a hot pink cast. She was laying in bed with them because she wasn't going to school that day. Like, I vividly remember this happening, and it's because that event broke our expectations. We remember exactly where we were when that event happened, similar to in light of recent events in our community as well. There's a selective advantage when we think about the brain and our body and our development as humans, but there's a selective advantage for remembering the world and when it isn't behaving as you expect. That is an advantage to help you when you're in danger. Our fight or flight response, we call it, our sympathetic nervous system, we have a selective advantage to remembering our memory helps retain information when something breaks our expectations. So of course, in the classroom, we want to play more on the side of breaking expectations with puzzling events as opposed to traumatic events. But again, in light of recent instances, we also have to remember that our students who do experience traumatic events are maybe not going to be as focused on what's happening in our classroom. They're going to be a little more preoccupied with what's happening in their real world. Thank you.